This story is based on real events, and its ending is shocking. In 1982, two off-duty police officers were hunting in a very remote area of Alaska. The place was far from any signs of life, and the only way to reach it was by plane or boat. After a long day, the two men decided to head back to their camp before it got dark. While walking near a river, they noticed something strange sticking out of the sand. At first, it looked like a boot, but as they got closer, they realized the terrifying truth. It wasn't just a boot. It was human remains. Because of their experience, they didn't touch anything. Instead, they marked the location and reported it to the authorities. The next day, investigators arrived and carefully uncovered the remains. It was the body of a woman who had been dead for several months. Initial findings suggested she had been shot, but there were unusual details that made the case more disturbing. Weeks later, the victim was identified. She was a 23-year-old woman who had gone missing months earlier. The last thing she told her friends was that she was going to meet a man who offered to pay her for a photo shoot. But the problem was, that man had completely disappeared. All the police had was a weak clue, not enough to solve the case. As time passed, concern grew, especially as more young women began to go missing in the same area. Months went by with no real progress, but the fear inside the police department kept growing. This didn't feel like a single incident anymore. It felt like a pattern. Then, one morning, something unexpected happened. A man was driving his truck down a quiet road when he saw a young woman running toward him in absolute panic. She was screaming and looked like she was running from something terrifying. He stopped immediately, and without hesitation, she opened the door and jumped inside. She was shaking, trying to hide, as if someone was chasing her. The man took her to a safe place, and the police were called. When officers arrived, the girl was still in shock, but she managed to tell her story. She said she had met a man who seemed completely normal at first. She didn't feel threatened, so she got into his car. But everything changed in an instant. He restrained her, threatened her, and took her to his house. That's when she realized she was in serious danger, and that she might not survive. Later, he told her he was going to take her somewhere far away. At that moment, she knew she had to escape. Somehow, she found a small opportunity, and she ran. She ran as fast as she could until she reached the road, where she was finally saved. Even though her story was detailed and terrifying, some investigators were unsure at first, but something about her account made them continue digging deeper. As time passed, new evidence began to appear. Another body was found, in a very similar way. Slowly, the pieces started to come together. All the victims were young women, and they had all disappeared under similar circumstances. This led the police to believe that one person was behind everything. Someone who lived a normal life. Someone who didn't stand out. The investigation began to focus on a specific suspect. He seemed like an ordinary man, living a stable and quiet life. Nothing about him raised suspicion. But when police finally got permission to search his home, everything changed. They discovered strong evidence linking him to the victims, things that should never have been in his possession. At that moment, it became clear. The truth was far darker than anyone had imagined. When he was confronted with the evidence, he could no longer deny it. In the end, he confessed. He admitted that he carefully selected his victims and gained their trust. He used simple tricks to make them feel safe, then took control and brought them to isolated places. From there, they would disappear. His confession revealed disturbing details about how he lived a normal life in front of everyone. while hiding a very dark side. This wasn't just a crime. It was a series of events that exposed a terrifying reality. Danger doesn't always come from obvious threats. Sometimes it comes from people who seem completely normal. And in the end, the most important lesson is this: never judge someone by how they appear. Because the most dangerous people are often the ones no one suspects.